Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of the interview series Clubs of NIT Trichy, brought to you by Technical Council. Today, we'll be talking about Robotics and Machine Intelligence Club, which is also known as RMI. Now, I'm sure you will be knowing the name RMI, you'll be very familiar with it. But in case you don't, let me tell you that RMI is the official Robotics and Technical Research Club of NIT Trichy. Today we'll take a closer look on what does the club do, how it works, and the most important, how does the inductions take place. So we have with us today the RMI President, Nitish, and the RMI Treasurer with us. So without any further ado, let us begin. Hello Nitish, hello Harshit. It's
Hi,
good to
Harshit.
have you here. How are you?
Hello, Idris. Thank you for having us. It is really good that you are conducting such sessions so that it will be helpful for the juniors to know about the club and as well as our induction process.
Hi, Adrish. I'm the RMI Treasurer, and this is a very good initiative from your side, letting know juniors of the clubs present in NITT.
Yeah, so let's start the session then. Like I know there are lots of people out there who want to join RMI. They always had a wish to join RMI, and they all are very eager to know the inductions, how they go on. But before going into those things, let me ask you, what is the main philosophy behind setting up the RMI club? And can you explain about what the club is all about? What does it do?
Yeah, definitely. So actually, we are the official robotics and technical research club of NIT Trichy, as you said, and we are a close-knit group of robotics enthusiasts from all departments of the college that seek the adventure of introducing life into machines. The club was actually formed in the year 2005 as a line follower robots club, actually, and in a couple of years, the RMI club members felt the need to venture into related domains and explore the related fields of robotics because there was a need to bridge the gap between departments and practical application in terms of the technical aspects. And over the years, the club has grown leaps and bounds in successfully completing many research projects and scaling them up to practically implementable solutions. And we primarily focus on technical research projects and competitions in the fields of robotics, artificial intelligence, and other related fields. And every year we showcase our work at the Pragyan stalls for everyone to gain insights from them and be motivated about robotics and to pursue their interest in that career if they wish to. And we also publish our research work in leading national and international conferences and journals. And apart from these, in order to introduce first years to the field of robotics, we conduct workshops and events and other competitions and they gain knowledge through the process. So that's basically what the club does in general.
So, can you explain us what were the projects taken up by the club so far?
Yeah, over the years, we developed projects in various fields like assistive robots, mobile robots, human-robot interaction, rapid prototyping, and among many other things. Then applications in agricultural, biomedical, military, and service sectors. And some of the assistive devices developed by us include the ARIES, which stands for Assistive Rehabilitative Exoskeleton, then SPHERE, which stands for Soft Pneumatic EMG Assisted Rehabilitation, and ASCON, which is American Sign Language to Speech Conversion, and MARCO for Machine Assisted Rehabilitation for Knee Osteoarthritis, and Super Robotic Fingers. And apart from that, we have military projects like SAT-HEX, Quadcopter, Robot, SRR, Minesweeper, and service robots like Pepper, multi-purpose robots like SnakeBot, Ballbot, Mind Over Matter, and Curos, which stands for Humanoid Robotic System. And over the years, we developed these, and some projects are long-term projects, and they're still going on. And we improve the problem statement over the years and make it more advanced as it progresses.
Yeah, like those were very interesting projects, like very interesting. So my next question will be like, do you feel the NITT curriculum was in any way helpful to like follow your passion for robotics, or was it totally self-taught?
I would like to take up this question. So, when you talk about robotics, it's a mixture of many domains. Yeah. So when you talk about robotics, it's a mixture of many domains. It basically includes electronics, mechanical. It includes control. It includes image processing, computer vision, machine learning, artificial intelligence. So when you take a student who enters the first year, so he's not going to explore everything, all these domains in his curriculum in NITT. So he has only the period of first year to get an interest, to know he's interested about robotics, so that he can join the club in second and continue working to second, third, and fourth year. So, but if you see, there are some parts in the NITT curriculum which are helpful for them. For example, in the first year, you will have basics of EEE and basics of mechanicals, as well as you have basics of C programming.
Yes.
So that lets students to explore basics of electronics, mechanicals, and C programming. And what we as a club try to do is we try to build on this. So apart from this, we conduct workshops. So to bridge the gap between the NITT curriculum and what is really robotics. So we try to explain students what really how do you apply all this electronics, mechanical controls in your project. And also one important more thing is there's a difference between a practical implication than the theoretical knowledge. So when you our almost entire NITT curriculum is based on theoretical knowledge, we have very less of practical application. So that obstacle is also taken. That obstacle was also taken from conducting workshop, where we allow students to work on a project in this workshop time. So basically what we do is we build on the NITT curriculum, and then we let the first years or the juniors to know that what really goes into robotics. Apart from this, in the second and third, fourth years, they also have other courses like control systems offered by ICE department, pattern recognition offered by ECE department, which helps in ML, and algorithms and data structures from CS. So these are some specific courses from NITT curriculum which helps you in robotics, but there's no as such of full curriculum for robotics invested in NITT.
Thank you very much. So my next question will be like, suppose I'm a member of RMI, so how will the club help me to pursue a career in the field of robotics?
Yeah. So basically, a club enables a group of interested and like-minded individuals to get access to resources and develop projects. And these things are pretty tough for an individual to do or pursue them on their own. So as a group, the club members can gain the practical knowledge in this field by carrying out research projects and advanced problem statements. And this in turn will create a wide range of internship opportunities for club members, giving them a chance to work on even more advanced problem statements with better resources in the field of robotics. And one more thing, generally when you come across internships, they do expect you to have some basic knowledge of pre-work which you have done in that field in order for them to take you for internship. And to be honest, like in our curriculum, we don't have such an opportunity for students to get experience in that particular field. So that is where this will be very helpful. And at the end of third years, members gain a lot of both practical and theoretical knowledge, additional to the ones they taught in curriculum. And this puts them in a better place when they move for higher studies or even placements. And we do have alumni who have excelled in various fields, be it research, startups, or leading roles in MNCs.
Right. So let's now slowly move towards the things which many people are eagerly waiting about, the inductions and all. So let me ask you, like, what are the prerequisites for a candidate getting into RMI, or what do you look into a potential candidate for who is willing to get into RMI?
So yeah, at the time of induction, what we want from a candidate is to know all the basics of the domain in the robotics. So basics of electronics, mechanical control, everything. So he can be interested in one specific domain. So, but he needs a working knowledge of other domains to work with others collaboratively on a project. So he needs to know the basics of everything. As I said, but from a college fresher who enters the college the first year, he doesn't know all this stuff at the first place. So that's why we conduct, as I said, we conduct workshops, we teach them, we give them resources, and we conduct many events such as following hackathon in the first year for people to get introduced to robotics and help gain passion in the field. So also apart from this, we also look at their approach skills, their critical thinking skills, and how they apply a specific knowledge in the question, the process of thinking or the direction of thinking. That matters a lot during the personal interviews we conduct for a candidate. So in total, if you ask me, a potential candidate should have all the basic knowledges in every domain, as well as she should be specialized in one domain. That domain can be of his own interest. That's not forced upon him.
Okay. So I would like to ask you, this is a question about for many people, what is the general structure of inductions for RMI? What and all processes happen throughout the induction process?
Yeah, thank you for asking that. So actually, we generally have structure every year, and I'll brief you about that first. So we generally have two different parts. One is the summer induction and one is the regular induction. In summer induction, what happens is people are selected from our events and competitions that we conduct throughout the year. So we conduct following hackathon, interviews, and other competitions, and based on that, we select people after conducting interviews, and then we assign them a project related or interested on, or something in which they are interested in, and we scale it up in such a way that it is feasible to be completed in the 2 months of summer holidays time. And in the regular induction track, interested people can register and they get a set of basic and advanced tasks. In basic tasks, you are expected to complete all the tasks in all the domains, like mechanics, electronics, coding, algorithms, machine learning, and computer vision. And in the advanced tasks, you can choose at least one domain in which you are interested in. You are free to choose multiple domains if you are interested. And after they complete the task, we conduct interviews and then induct them. So these are the two channels that we regularly follow every year. And this year, due to COVID situation, we made a few changes to our plan. And that is, we were supposed to conduct following, and due to COVID, we weren't able to conduct that. And instead, we conducted another competition called Path Planner. So from these two channels, we select people for interviews to test them about their progress and also their technical knowledge in those fields. And then we assign them short mini projects to complete. And from that, we take final interviews and then select them. Apart from this, we have another task, another track, and that includes the main track, which have a set of coding tasks, mechanics tasks, electronics tasks. And we have additional questionnaire to accommodate people, those who don't have laptops and other things and other resources. So that will, even if you have a mobile, that will be sufficient for them to go through the induction process. And from these, we shortlist people based on their performance and the interviews in the tasks and questionnaire, and then select them for interviews. And we conduct final interviews and then induct them. Apart from this, we also have the lateral induction process, where we shortlist them based on their resume and then give a project. And the project will be slightly advanced when compared to the first years, because we expect them to have some pre-knowledge when it comes to lateral inductance. And then the final selection will be based on personal interviews.
Yeah. So, my next question will be, what and all things can an inductee learn from the throughout the induction process? Like, suppose if I am an inductee and I go throughout the process of the induction, what is the major takeaway from the induction process?
So yeah, as Nitish said, we have two channels for induction, right? So there's summer channel as well as the normal induction process. So each inductee will have a different experience in both in those respective paths which they are going. Let's take the case of a summer inductee. So what he's going to do is he's going to attend competitions like following. He's going to go through a hackathon. He's going to go through a personal interview, get selected, and then he'll be given a project in his summer time, the first year summer holidays, to do from his home, and then his progress will be tested later when he comes back to college. So when you see a summer inductee, he basically develops an interest over the first year itself. That's why he attends following hackathon and stuff, and he almost has basic knowledge in all these domains. Hence, he's given a project, and by the end of the first year summer holidays, he has a project by hand before even getting into the club. So what are the takeaways for a summer inductee is he has learned all the basics for robotics required, and also he has a project at hand before even entering a club. Now taking the case of a normal inductee, so why do I have a normal induction process is people might not find their passion till the end of the first year. So following hackathon, everything happens in the even semester of the first year. So there might be people who are interested at the end of the first year's summer holidays, and they want to enter into clubs. So that's when they find the passion, whether they want to go into software, robotics, or any other clubs want to. So for them, we need to start from the basics again. So we give basic tasks which enables them to acquire knowledge on basics of every domain, and then we give advanced tasks which they do to specialize in one domain. So when you take the case of a normal inductee, he's also gonna learn all the basic stuff, and he's going to be specialized in one domain. But the difference from a summer inductee is the summer inductee is going to have a project by hand before even getting into it. So as a summary, if you see, all the inductees will have a basic knowledge on what goes into robotics, and they are prepared to do a basic project in robotics.
Yeah. So as we know that there are lots of things in the robotics domain. There is electronics and mechanics and all. So many of the first years have this belief that RMI will only take maybe like only from circuital branches, or like usually they have this kind of thoughts in their minds. So what's your say about this? Like, what do you guys say?
Yeah, that's a really great question, and thank you for asking that. It's actually a major misconception, and I come across this question pretty often. As a matter of fact, we had people from various departments, be it production, metallurgy, or any other thing. And
Yes.
as a matter of fact, it is crucial for robotics to have people from different domains. For example, mechanics and design are a crucial part of robotics, and they are really essential for a robot to interact with the physical world. And depending on the project, material engineering is also essential for soft robotics, medical robots, etc. So it all depends upon the projects, and we do need people from other departments. And I myself am from mechanical department, which is a non-circuital field. And actually, we even had people from architecture a couple of years back. It was a part of our 3D printer, which we are currently using it. And so, like, it's not that we are restricted to a particular domain like circuital or non-circuital. We are open to people from any department, and all we need is an enthusiastic mindset with the dedication and perseverance to pursue robotics. And also, like, even if you're not equipped with the skills and the knowledge required for robotics, our induction process is designed in such a way that we train everyone in every domain possible, and so you don't need to worry if you don't have prior knowledge. If you follow our resources and go through our process, it would be sufficient for you to pursue robotics.
Yeah. So now, can you give us some resources from where one can learn about robotics and all other concepts related to that field? Like, I am sure there are many people who want to start a career in this field. So, can you give us some kind of materials or some kind of websites or some kind of links, so which can be helping them for giving a head start in their careers?
Yeah, sure. So one of the best places to begin with is there's a website called societyofrobots.com. So it basically has
Yeah.
all the it basically has a forum for the members where they can ask doubts clear, and also it has basically tutorials split it into beginner, intermediate, and advanced level. So also it explains the concepts of electronics and mechanics which goes into robotics. So basically a full packed a guidance kind of a website. So that's a best place to begin with. Actually, it's called societyofrobots.com. Apart from this, each and every domain has its own websites. Like for electronics, you can use a website called electronicstutorials.ws. So it basically has all the concepts required for the electronics from diodes, transistors to its applications and its usefulness in robotics. And for mechanics, there's a famous book called Introduction to Robotics by J.J. Craig. So it's a best book for mechanics. And if you take the case of computer vision or image processing, Python OpenCV is one of the good places to begin with. So they have a full documentation of there in the Python OpenCV website. And apart from this, for algorithms, everyone knows that Geeks for Geeks is really good. And for ML and AI, you can take the Coursera's Andrew Ng course. So basically, he has plenty of courses. He has basics of machine learning. He has specialization courses in deep learning as well. So that's a very good place for AI and ML. And also there's this MIT open courseware, which gives free study materials for AI and ML. So, but one of the best ways I will say for beginners to start with robotics is by doing projects. So it's simply a beginner can go and type robotic projects with tutorials online. He'll find n number of lists, and through which he can start building up small projects with tutorials. But that way he can learn a lot. So yeah, you can move on now.
Yeah. Moving on, my next question will be, how is the alumni support for RMI and how has that helped the club so far?
Yeah, so we are one of the clubs that have a distinguished set of alumni around the globe, and that is one of our major strengths. And our seniors have pursued higher studies like MS and PhD abroad in well-renowned colleges like Carnegie Mellon University, University of Michigan, Georgia State University, University of Pennsylvania, and Stanford, among many others. And some have turned into entrepreneurs and laid foundations for startups like Origin Health, which is based in Singapore and Bangalore, and Oculo Aerospace, based in Bangalore, Ecofrost Technologies in Pune, and Volt 3D rapid prototyping solutions. And we also have alumni who work in well-known and established companies like NVIDIA, Bosch, Microsoft, and Apple, and among many others. So we actually have a WhatsApp group, and we interact with our alumni on a regular basis over there. We update them about our projects every year, and they provide us with the technical and sometimes even financial assistance for our projects. And they also update and provide us with work opportunities in their companies or elsewhere when they come across something related to those fields. And they provide us with resources, technical knowledge, and feedback on our work. And that is the most important part of being in a club, in my opinion. So in that way, like, we do have a really good alumni support from our seniors.
Right. That's very nice. So I would like to ask, like, now we all know that RMI is a very well-established club in the college. Like, it has made its own place among all other clubs in NIT Trichy. So, like, what is the prime reason, according to you, you think, for such a success of RMI?
Yeah, so when you talk about a club, so there are two things which goes into the club. One is the club members, and other is the club functionality as a whole. So when you take the club functionality as a whole, the idea behind this club is robotics. So the word robotics is now trending now. So and for any undergraduate or a fresher, robotics is gonna sound cool because there's a lot of work engineering goes into it. So the idea behind the project itself is good, the robotics. The other thing, what do you say? Other thing, main reason is the quality of projects we choose and work on is the standards of it is getting high at every year. So that's one of the prime reasons which enables us to be a successful college in our campus. I mean, successful club in our campus. When you talk about the club members, the club members' role in a club's functionality is also important. So what you need to do for club members is, so our main objective in our club is to keep our club members interested and excited about the projects they work on. They never should get disappointed about the project, or they never should be bored about it. If they are, it's not going to produce any results in the club's outcome. So so a couple of things we do is we take in all their opinions while coming up with a decision. So for example, regarding a club's decision, we take opinions of all the members in the club before coming up to a final decision. Obviously, you can't satisfy everyone, but everyone's opinion is heard and convinced before coming up with the final decision. And also, people are free to choose to do their own research or start a new project if they are not interested in the existing projects. So they have freedom to do whatever research they like. So the club members, so that enables the club members to be happy and gives promising results to the club's output. Hence, put together, it builds up the reputation of the club.
Right. So before we conclude the session, I would like to ask one last question to both of you. I would like to ask, how was your journey with RMI so far?
Yeah, actually, it is a really good experience to be in a part of RMI, considering the fact that we don't have such a curriculum in our college, and so we do get the opportunity to learn things that we are not taught in college, and this also helps us in pursuing the career we choose to. If otherwise, it would be tough. For example, we don't have robotics related careers out there in India, or if we say related to the departments, we don't have such things taught in our curriculum. And
yes.
Being a part of RMI shaped a major portion of what I am today. In fact, there are some times where I give more importance to the club rather than my department, because just because of the fact that is more likely to be my career rather than my department. And also the opportunities the club provides us, be it the alumni or the resources, everything is really a wonderful experience. And apart from the technical aspects, we do bond every year for various things, and we do go out on trips, and it is basically a community and a family more than a club.
So my experience as such, see, I wasn't sure whether I was interested in robotics till the end of my first year. So I was inducted into the club through the normal induction process, whereas Nitish was inducted through the summer induction process. So I had no idea how robotics work at first. So RMI gave introduction to that, and it helped me define a career. I had no idea in my life what to do. So it helped me choose a career and define a career in my path. It helped me in getting intern opportunities. IIT in Delhi, working on a self-driving car, and also publishing we also published a paper based on a project. So as a personal experience, I would say, as Nitish said, RMI is more like a family for me. and I also prefer the club over the department at times. Bunk CTs, work for this, such kind of stuff. So yeah, so it helped me a lot. The background of RMI is going to be a stable thing in my career as I move forward. The foundation of my career is basically based on RMI. That's what I want.
So guys, that's all RM. Hope you have taken all the important points by Nitesh and Harit. Please do check their website, their Facebook, LinkedIn, and Instagram pages for more detailed info. I would like to thank Nitesh Rashid for taking time out from their valuable time and sharing such insightful facts and giving a whole overall idea about RMI. Thank you so very much. Me, on behalf of Technical Council, will hope that RMI reaches great heights in the future and wish you all the very best. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very
Thank
much,
you.
Harish.